What's up, guys? Welcome to Bros in the Arena. Um, I don't. I mean, today's topic is gonna be kind of short, most likely. But let's talk about depression, bro. Cause I was watching a video last night. Some young guy in his 20s. Um, just being depressed. Something that I've been seeing a lot of. Depression is an old thing, but it seems like there's a lot more Zoomers feeling like they're depressed, or for lack of a better word, they think they're depressed. Which, if you think you are, you are. Obviously, there's levels to the game, but I'm not a stranger to depression myself. So, this kid, his name's John. I don't know what his handle is, but his name is John on YouTube. He's pretty new. He only had like 13 videos up, and one of them went viral. That's the one that kind of just came on my feed. Um, he was basically just describing how he feels out of touch. He doesn't have any friends that he could relate to. And towards the end of the video, he shares that I think he's an orphan. I don't know from birth or not, but he said verbatim that he has no parents. So he didn't really elaborate, but that's tough. That guy's actually depressed if he feels that way. I know there's kids who break up with their girl and think they're depressed. This guy has a real reason to be depressed. So I have a lot of experience with dealing with tragedy, unfortunately, like real tragedy. I'm not going to share what it is in this video, but I'm just going to share how to get over it, but more so how to live with it. So that's actually the first thing, is that you'll never actually get over it. You just learn to live with the darkness, and your soul's always going to be stained. When you go through something truly tragic, truly painful, there's no getting over it. The people around you are going to wait for you to get over it, and depending on the seriousness of the tragedy, they'll give you X amount of years. The more serious it is, the more time they'll give you. But eventually, they'll all expect you to get over it. And the truth is, you're just going to learn how to live with it. You have to learn how to live with it. Now, there'll be moments in your life where you think you got over it. I think I think that's what most people's problem is that they don't actually realize that you never get over it. Maybe 3 years will pass, maybe 5, 8, 10, 12, 16. And there'll be moments in your life where you kind of do forget about it, but it'll always come back. And maybe people are not familiar with the concept of it never coming back. Maybe it coming back, maybe the reoccurring depression makes them depressed in and of itself. I'm not sure, but I realized a little early on, maybe like 5 years into it, that I don't need to get over it. I just need to learn how to live with it. And how do you do that? Well, first, you do need to allow yourself to grieve in any capacity in which that manifests itself. This is not, it could be controversial. There's a lot of people that will tell you to reach out to God. There's a lot of people that'll tell you to pray on it. And you know what? If you really truly feel that way, then obviously do that. But most likely you're not going to feel that way. Not unless you already have a really deep connection with God. You're more than likely not going to turn to God in these kinds of situations. But if you do and you genuinely feel that way, then you should do that. But whatever you do feel, you got to allow yourself to go down that dark rabbit hole with the thought of knowing that you're not going to get lost in the rabbit hole. You need to give yourself permission to venture into the void and just keep a proverbial string attached to the exit, because you don't know how deep you're going to go. You don't know where the rabbit hole is going to lead, but you have to allow yourself to go in. And this can manifest itself in different ways. You start rebelling against, it depends what age you are too and what you got going on. So let's not try to guess how it's going to manifest itself, but you do have to allow yourself to go through it. Once you do, eventually you're going to hit rock bottom. And whatever that is, the second thing you should know is that the rock bottom has another bottom. There's another bottom to the rock bottom. And just understand that. When you hit rock bottom, you might think that it's over, but there's always another bottom. And once you hit that bottom, and now this takes years, man. This takes years. This is not, we're talking about serious tragedy, serious pain that takes years to get over or live with, But once you hit the second bottom, maybe there's a third, most likely not unless you're a particular character. But most likely there'll be, the rock bottom always has another bottom. Once you hit that, you should naturally feel like you're gonna make a choice to get better. And you should understand that depression is a choice. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like you're just in this perpetual dark, melancholic state. But it is a choice. It's a choice that you make because you feel good in the darkness when you're going through pain. You feel good. You don't want to see the light. Fuck the light. You want to experience more pain. You want to find solace at the bottom of the bottle. Maybe, like I said, this manifests itself in different ways, but it is a choice. And eventually, when you hit the bottom after rock bottom, you'll naturally want to choose to live a better, healthier, more positive life. And as long as you have the right expectations set in the beginning, like I explained already, then you will allow yourself to move forward, and that's the beginning of you learning how to live with the darkness. You got to get comfortable with it. And that's pretty much it. You don't need pills. You don't need therapy in the way that you need to go see a clinical therapist. I think people have a problem with avoiding all these things. And I'm just telling you, like, you need to accept whatever your grief is. You need to accept walking into the darkness, knowing that you're going to return to the light when you feel like it. And you will feel like it sometime because, the darkness can only last so long. But it's different for everybody. Don't be surprised if it lasts 10 years. Some people get lost in the darkness, and so be it. That's life. But if you're a young guy going through something real, real tough, like this kid who doesn't have parents anymore, or maybe he never did, you need to understand these three things, man. I think it'll help you dealing with depression. So that's it, guys. Maybe we'll dive into it more a little bit later. But one, allow yourself to grieve however that manifests itself. Two, you have to understand that you're never truly going to get over it. You're just going to learn how to live with it. And that happens after you hit rock bottom. And three, um, fuck, I'm having a brain fart. Yeah, there might be just those two, bro. It might be just those two. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, I still get depressed from time to time, to be honest, because I know that it's not gonna I'm never gonna get over something. It's just like something that reoccurs itself through time. I understand that. But yeah, one, understand that you're gonna live with it, go through it, hit rock bottom. It's gonna take, this is years, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Eventually you're gonna want to return to the light. Eventually you're gonna want to live a healthier, positive life. And accept that, man. And always have someone to talk to, whether you're taking a bunch of drugs and you talk to yourself, but that's therapeutic too. Sometimes you don't have somebody to talk to. And if you're like me, you don't want, the third one was a choice. I forgot. Sorry about that. The third one is that being depressed is a choice, and eventually you'll choose to get out of it. But yeah, sometimes you don't have someone to talk to, and that's fine. Sometimes you go down the psychedelic trip. Sometimes you do too many substances, and as long as you talk to yourself and you're real with yourself, that counts. So we'll leave it like that, guys. See you next time.